Hi everyone, welcome to today's live chat. A couple of things before I start. First of all, I recommend the Rafferty's Garden brown rice cereal. I find that some children can be intolerant to the rosemary that's in the white Bellamy's rice cereal. So if your child's got like dermatitis, like a rash behind its knees or on its elbows or arms, please consider the baby rice and make sure that you're using the Rafferty's Garden brown rice cereal. I don't recommend that you use your own homemade rice cereal because we believe that babies need extra iron. It's very important that they get the iron out of the rice cereal that you purchase. Now, please, if you're watching, give me the thumbs up or the little, you can put up thumbs up, you can put up little hearts, you can put up angry faces, you can put up sad faces, crying faces, happy faces. If those things are coming up along the bottom, I will keep talking. If they're not coming up, I will stop talking. So good, there's a couple coming up, so I will keep talking. Now, a lady just popped a question up in another thread and said, what do I do with my baby if I put my baby down in his cot or her cot? As soon as I put my baby down, my baby rolls to its side or tummy. How do I add the bedding? So this is a very important question, so I thought I would chat to you on it live, and I just said to her, I'm going to answer it live for you. So, as you know, I believe babies should sleep on their back with their face and head uncovered. In order to achieve this, I look at your mattress protector, we remove your mattress protector, we add the Save Our Sleep one or a cotton towel, etc. This is all explained in the bedding guide. Please note with the bedding guide, there's a new updated bedding guide which is going to be launched tonight or tomorrow. So you'll all have to go back and click on your links, find the links in all the different places and check out the new one tonight or tomorrow. I've just changed it a bit to try and make the blanket layers a bit more clear for people. So you follow the bedding guide, including the mattress protector advice, and what you would do is if you put your baby down in their cot and they flip immediately to their side or to their tummy, don't worry. I would roll them back to their back and I would sort of have one hand on them and use the other hand to put the blankets on top of them. I would start with at least 8 layers of blankets at this time of year for everywhere. So with the exception of far, far North Queensland, or if you're in a country where it's over 26 degrees, or a place or a state, I would start with at least 8 blankets. These are cotton or bamboo blankets. So I would roll your baby back to his back or her back, hold your baby with one hand, pop the blankets on, I'd stand back and watch. If your baby again flips to their side or to their tummy, I would put them back on their back and add 2 more blankets, making 10. If they flipped again, I would put them back on their back and add 2 more, making 12. It might be that you walk out of the room and you come back half an hour later and they've turned. I would not be scared of waking your sleeping baby. I would move them again because it's much better to move them and put them back on their back than them have an accident during the night and not make it through the night because they've been sleeping on their tummy, face down, or on their side. We know that some babies, for some reason, don't know to move their head to their side if they're not getting enough oxygen while they sleep. So to answer that lady, who asked the question earlier, sorry, I can't remember your name, but to answer you, I would be flipping them back to their back and keep doing this until you try up to the 15 layers of blankets. If you reach the 15 layers of blankets and your baby continues to roll to their tummy, then you do give up and you let them sleep on their tummy and you only use 2 blankets. But I would never reach that point until you've tried the 15 blankets. Now, another thing. Somebody emailed me recently and said that they bought my recommended mattress somewhere else. The organic cotton covered mattress. The organic cotton cover on the Save Our Sleep mattress is on hundreds of branded mattresses. It's what is inside it that's important, and the factory it's made in that is important. Our factory is smoke-free, and we have a wool topper inside, and we have really, really expensive Italian firm springs. That's what you're paying for. You can go to the internet, you can Google organic cotton covered mattresses, you can see mattresses that look very similar to the one that I sell, but it's not the same one. So just be very careful because products can often look alike on the internet and they're not actually the same thing. So be careful with that. Now, I think that's my housekeeping covered. Before I take some questions, I'm just going to have a look on my phone and see who has asked some questions. So hold on a sec while the phone often takes a little bit to catch up with what we're doing, and then of course the sound comes on, which I always have to turn down. Right, we have 8 comments. Let me see who's asking questions. I thought I'd do the feed at 3 o'clock. Not the feed, the live feed. Well, I suppose it is a feed, but I thought I'd do it at 3 o'clock because I thought some of you would be going and getting your babies up, and now you'll have had time. It's now about 3:10. You'll have had time to sit down, get the baby on the breast, and have a listen while you're feeding your baby. So, Danielle says, "Hi Tizzie, my 8-month-old is waking after one sleep cycle for most naps, even though he's awake 3 hours before I put him down. Should I keep increasing his awake time?" So, if an 8-month-old came to me for catnapping, the first thing I would look at is, are you aiding him to sleep? So is he sucking on a dummy? Is he listening to music while he's falling asleep? Are you rocking him to sleep? Is he playing with your hair while he falls asleep? Is there something about when he falls asleep that has changed when the first sleep cycle happens? If the answer is no, the next thing I would look at is bedding. Are you using the correct bedding? If it's your child's suddenly waking and they've always slept, then bedding won't be an issue. But bedding. The next thing I would look at is diet. Are you feeding him stage 2 formula? Are you breastfeeding? Are you on probiotics? If you're not breastfeeding, have you given him probiotics? Are you feeding him custard? Are you feeding him enough food? Have you been to your maternal health nurse for a checkup? And has your maternal health nurse suggested that you move to lumpy food, and have you done this? These things can all cause catnapping. Make sure you're feeding him puree until he is full. And I would go back to that to try and get rid of the catnapping. Make sure you're feeding him meat, fish, chicken, casserole type meals, pureed at lunch and dinner, mixed with express breast milk and brown rice cereal, or infant formula and brown rice cereal. Only stage 1. Do not go to stage 2 or 3 infant formula. This will cause catnapping and night waking in a lot of children, not all, but enough that it would make me say don't use it with any children. I would look at all of that. If you've done all of that and he's still having short sleeps, go to a 3-hour, 20-minute awake time. When you say he's having 3 hours awake time, my question would be, so if you put him down, let's say in the morning at 9:50, and then he only sleeps for 40 minutes, are you keeping him awake for 3 hours, or are you keeping him awake till the next sleep time? Make sure you're actually keeping him awake till the next routine sleep time. Don't adjust the routine because your baby wakes early in the morning, or because your baby wakes early from his sleep. Stick with the routine. Just keep them awake till the next sleep time. Samantha says, "Hi Tizzie, quick question. If I have altered the routine 6:30 to 6:30, should my little girl, who's 5.5 months, be going down for her first sleep at 8:30? So the first sleep would normally be 9. So if you were getting them up at 7, they'd be up for 2 hours at 5.5 months, which would be 9. Yes, so your first sleep would be 8:30. She doesn't seem tired enough by then, and is very cranky going to bed. So if your 5.5 month is the second or third child, then they might need more awake time. We find this with second and third children. If you're finding that your child doesn't want to go to bed this early, try 20 minutes later. So try 8:50 and see if that helps. The routines are guides on what children do naturally. I didn't just make the routines up one day. I actually watched children and saw what they did naturally if in a demand feeding situation in other countries other than Australia and Ireland. But some children do need to move up the routines faster than others. Alicia says, "Hi, I'm having a lot of trouble with my 2-year-old son eating. He's very fussy and won't eat healthy meals. I've tried changing his diet habits as you recommend, but hasn't helped. He's happy to go without a meal if it means he doesn't eat what he wants. He'll happily go without a meal if it means he doesn't have to eat what he doesn't like. Any suggestions? He's waking at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Right. I don't think the 5:30, 6 o'clock is related to him eating or not eating. When a child is up to the age of 2, they need to eat, and grow, and grow, and grow. They reach 2 and they no longer need to eat in order to grow. They're not growing as fast as what they were growing, and they suddenly don't need to eat as much. So they become fussy eaters. This is explained in the toddler book, and it's explained in the feeding book. So the feeding book I recommend to buy when you're pregnant. I recommend if you've got a friend who's pregnant and you're not sure if she's going to want to follow a routine, the feeding book will teach her how to demand feed successfully without causing sleep problems. This is a good starting point. If you want to introduce somebody to Save Our Sleep, I would be buying them this. A baby shower gift, I would be buying them this. I wouldn't necessarily be buying them this one because this one is very routine. So that's covered about the 2-year-old not eating in here, and it's also covered in the toddler book. Now, people will ask when should they buy the toddler book. The toddler book you would buy from about 9 months. If your child is starting to move, crawl, move around, roll around, about 9 months is when I'd buy the toddler book. So it's explained in both those books that children of 2 suddenly do not need to eat as much. So I wouldn't be worried. I would be putting your good healthy food down in front of your 2-year-old, stopping all snacks between meals. So feed your 2-year-old at 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and then dinner time about 5:30. Stop all snacks apart from maybe one small bit of fruit, like half a banana or something between meals. I would recommend you stop all snacks and you don't worry. You put the healthy food down, and if they eat it, they eat, and if they don't worry about it. They do. 2-year-olds can manage on 2 Wheat Bix for breakfast mixed with infant formula or A2 milk. They can manage on that. They do not need food. They can actually manage on that for the whole day. So stop worrying about trying to get them to eat, because you will enforce bad food habits by trying to get them to eat and then giving them anything just to make them eat. So please stop worrying about your 2-year-old not eating. Give them healthy food. If they eat, they eat, and if they don't, they don't. That will not be why your 2-year-old's waking at 5:36. 5:36 will be the time of your daytime sleep. So Alicia, move your 2-year-old's daytime sleep to later, or try more bedding on your 2-year-old. Don't think it's connected to food. It's not at that age. Healthy eating helps, but that's not why they're waking at 5:36. Carla says, hi Tizzie. What is your sleep best advice for travelling across time zones with an 18-month-old? Jet lag and routine rise. Okay, Carla, I would put your 18-month-old on a routine at least 3 weeks before you leave. I would have them set up in a travel cot at home for at least 3 nights before you leave. On the airplane, you just do what you have to do to survive, and when you get to the time zone you get to, you start the routine as soon as you get there. So if you get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you go to the routine and start it at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you get there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you go to your routine and follow what you would normally do at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Your child will adjust quite easily. Don't be scared of it. They'll adjust quite easily if you're following a routine, but always bring your own Baby Bjorn travel cot with you. You don't want to risk getting there and not having a safe cot for your child to sleep in. And also it's good because you can, if you get stuck somewhere, if you end up staying in a hotel overnight, you'll have your own cot, which is always helpful. Kylie says, hi Tizzie. My son is 8 months old and he's on your 6 to 9 month routine. He weighs 9.5. He goes down for his day sleep well. He's waking once a night, anywhere from 2 to 4:30. I live in Queensland. I use 10 SOS blankets, cotton towel. When I add any more blankets, he wakes and he's too hot. He has 20 minutes of wide-awake playtime before bed. He sleeps in a long sleep. Well, it sounds like you've got the bedding covered. So I would be looking at his diet. I'd be making sure you haven't introduced stage 2 or stage 3 infant formula. And I would be looking at things like, you've said you're not on the mini pill, you're not taking probiotics, good. He's not having any yogurt. I've pushed his afternoon sleep to 1:40. It won't be related to his afternoon sleep. Waking between 2 and 4:30 has got to be related to his diet or an ear infection or something like that. I don't know, Kylie, if he's ever slept through the night. I think the best thing to do would be for you to join the online advice area. I know it's $240. It sounds like a lot, but we will get you sorted in there. That's a very odd waking between 2 and 4:30 when you've covered all the Queensland stuff. So I'd be looking at food texture, looking at if he's on step 2 infant formula, but it sounds like you've got all of that covered. So there must be something we're missing. He must be either falling asleep without you realising it, maybe reading a bedtime story or using your hair or something as a sleep aid. You covered everything that I would cover on the feed, so unfortunately that's all I can help with without saying join the advice area where hopefully we can get you sorted. Kira says, hi Tizzie, I have a 7-month-old who is rolling and sitting. I'm still wrapping her in the double wrap at night. She rolls when she's not in it. People are telling me not to swaddle the baby. You're your baby's mum. You do what you want to do for your baby. Don't listen to other people. You shouldn't swaddle her if she's looking like she's going to roll swaddled, but you say she's not, and you say people are saying not to swaddle baby that rolls, but she always stays on her back when she is wrapped. I follow your bedding guide. Okay, so she's not rolling. These people are confused. They are going by what we have to tell everybody who uses any wrap. There are some really, really unsafe baby products out there. There are unsafe cocoons that you put in cots with baby, unsafe plastic head positioners that you put under babies. If you're following my safe bedding guide, you're not using any of those unsafe products. You're not using an unsafe wrap, you're using a safe wrap. So you can wrap your baby till your baby is 9 or 10 months old, or older if you wanted to. These people are telling you what they've heard for every baby out there. You've got to remember, we have to tell you the same thing. If you live, and I'm going to be very stereotype here, which, you know, I do and probably I shouldn't, but let's say you lived in a council block where you didn't have clean running water. I'm talking about in London or Manchester, and you lived in the very top of a council block. You didn't have clean running water. You had poor sewerage. You didn't know how to clean, how to wash up bottles, wash up dishes. You had a partner that lived there and drank every night and left dirty pizza boxes on the sink, and the place and you had maggots eating the food and stuff. We would have to give you the same advice for making infant formula and feeding your baby infant formula as what we would give somebody who lives in a brand new house, let's say a brand new spotlessly clean house where you have a housekeeper. You live in St. George's Road in Toorak, and you have a housekeeper who works for you full-time, 45 hours a week, cleaning your house with disinfectant. I would give you the same advice making up your infant formula as what I would give somebody who lived in an absolutely filthy, dirty house, because that's what we do. Same with wrapping. We would give you the same advice for wrapping your baby. Other people would give you the same advice for wrapping your baby regardless of what wrap you used, because we have to tell you what to do for the general wrap out there. You're not using a general wrap. You're using a Save Our Sleep safe wrap that I know is safe. I know that you can use it till your baby is 9 or 10 months old. So please don't worry about what other people are saying. And please remember that when babies are not wrapped in bed, it's often the first time they roll that they have an accident. So if your baby is rolling in its uptime, it is the most important time to wrap your baby in their cot. Anyway, I'm going to leave it and not take any more questions. There is a question from... I'm just going to tell you which questions are still there. No, there's too many questions. I'm going to have to leave it there and not take any more questions today. Hopefully some of you will log on again tomorrow, and I'll take your questions tomorrow. And also, I'm not taking any more questions because for the last minute there's been no thumbs up and no hearts and no smiley faces or angry faces or sad faces coming across the bottom. And I told you when the faces stopped, I'd stop talking. So I'm going. Thank you very much for listening. Or there's no point putting them up now. I'm already leaving the room. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your questions. Remember, there'll be a new, this is like an encore. Now you're all putting up the hearts and the angry faces and the smiley faces. Okay, I'm going to take one more question just to be fair because it's coming up. But remember, stop all of those and I'm going away. But I do need to go and get my kids from school soon, so I will be going soon. Right, where did we get to? Hold on one sec. I need to find where I'm at. Kylie, we answered you. We answered Kira, we answered you. Kira Byrne, very Irish name. You said about wrapping. People keep telling you not to. Okay, the next person is Natalie. Natalie says, I can't seem to get my 6-month-old to do the 4:30, 6.5-month-old to do the 4:30 nap. Then she wants to go to bed at 6. Okay, so Natalie, I would be adjusting your 6.5-month-old to have a later 1 o'clock sleep. So if you're doing the sleep at 1:20, change that sleep to 1:40 and then allow your child to sleep till 3:40 or until she wakes no later than 4 o'clock. Look at the routine for the exact notes there. And that way you won't need to do the 4:30 nap and your 6.5-month-old won't be tired by wanting to go to bed at 6 o'clock. You said then she goes to bed at 6 o'clock and then the problem is she's waking at 9, 1 and wants to be up at 6. Okay, so More likely the 9 o'clock and the 1 o'clock is what's causing you the problems with the routine. We need to work out why she's waking at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning. The first thing I'd be looking at is the bedding guide. The next thing I'd be looking at is your diet. Hopefully that helps you. Right, Kayla says, hi Tizzie, just wondering if you found when Bubs has 6 months injection that they seem to drink less. Mine had hers yesterday and she's eating her solids, but her milk she's eating her, hold on, mine had hers yesterday and won't drink more than 40 mils, but eating her solids well, which is obviously has milk in it too. She woke up for a 2:30 a.m. feed, which she hasn't done in ages. After the injections, depending on where she had them in her legs or in her arms, she might be sore. So when you're holding her to feed her, make sure that where she's had the injections you're not touching, because that could be why she's not drinking her milk. And it should pass. You could try her on some Panadol 20 minutes before you're giving her her milk and see if that helps. But it should pass. It doesn't normally happen. If she's still off her milk in the next 2 or 3 days, take her back to the doctor. Unless, of course, she has a reaction where she becomes very lethargic and very sleepy, you'd go to the doctor sooner. But if she seems okay in eating her solids, other than not drinking the milk, if it's still happening in 3 or 4 days, go and get her ears and her throat checked out and make sure there's not anything else wrong with her. Okay, I really have to leave it there, guys. Thank you all. I know you're still putting up the little bits across the bottom, but I did an encore for you, so I've got to leave it there. I have to run. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I will hopefully chat to you again in the next few days. Remember, there's a new bedding guide, updated bedding guide, out tomorrow or the next day. So when you click on the links tonight or tomorrow, there'll be a new guide. Okay, just updated guide. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.